Let me share the presentation. So today we will see the overview of Canto 3 and Chapter 12. So the Chapter 12 belongs to the Section 2 where we are predominantly discussing about creation, Sarga, as well as Visarga. Creation, which is two parts, which is the primary creation as well as secondary creation. In Chapter 5, beginning we saw more about primary creation, but from Chapter 8 or 9, like we have been seeing about secondary creation. In chapter 10 specifically, we saw how Maitreya Rishi was speaking to Vidura about how Brahma manifested from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu that he described in chapter 8, and then what kind of prayers that Brahmaji offered to Garbhodakshaya Vishnu that he explained in 9. And after offering prayers, after being blessed by Lord Vishnu, what did he do? So that was explained in chapter 10. So in the course of explaining what Brahmaji was doing, how he was creating, Vidura suddenly asked about time. So Maitreya Rishi completed the thread of what he was speaking in chapter 10 and spoke about time factor in chapter 11 elaborately. It's a little of a detour, not completely unrelated, but it was like a break in his topic. So after speaking about time factor in chapter 11, which was not totally, as I said, not totally unrelated, but it was in line with what he was explaining in chapter 10. Now, in when the description about time ends, Maitreya Rishi says, okay, let me continue to describe what did Brahmaji actually create. So after describing Vidura's question about so now Maitreya Rishi in this chapter 12 is going to continue to describe about the secondary creation, which was the topic that he was speaking earlier in chapter 10. So in the secondary creation of Brahman, here specifically we are going to speak about creation of Kumaras and the others. So this is actually Brahmaji is getting into work here. His work actually begins in a serious note in this chapter. So what does he create? That's what we are going to see in this particular chapter. In this chapter, predominantly we'll be seeing how Brahmaji created different types of ignorance or features of ignorance and personalities like four Kumaras, Narada Muni, and various other sons. The Manasa Putras, the sons produced from the mind of Brahma, like Marichi, Brigu, and others. And also, we will see how Rudra takes birth from Brahma in this chapter. And also, Brahma will be producing all kinds of Vedas, Upavedas, and various other manifestations. And specifically, we will see about a small episode of Brahma getting attracted to his daughter. That will be explained by Maitreya Rishi. And then the rest of the other creation and why does he create Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa. The reasons also we will see in this chapter. So we are going to see about 5 features of ignorance, different personalities that will be who will be created from Brahmaji, like for Kumaras, Rudra, Narada Muni, Daksha, Marichi, and all these kind of personalities, and then various aspects of the Vedas and the sensory abilities. They all will be created from Brahma, and we will see what's the reason for Swayambhu, Manu, and Shatarupa being created from Brahma, and how does that happen. So if anybody had anything to ask from the previous week, then we can take at this time. Otherwise, we can go ahead. Let's see. Then. So here in this particular chapter, Brahmaji is beginning to create. So first of all, he creates 5 features of ignorance. So then the question would be naturally, everything that we do generally, like when we begin an activity, we try to begin it in an auspicious note. Whenever we try to do anything for that matter. So we want it to be very auspicious. I remember especially while hearing Ramayana, Lord Ram, the first time when he goes out of his palace, like with Vishwamitra Muni, and Lord Ram and Lakshman, they are walking. And when they come across Tataka, Vishwamitra says, please kill this demoness. So Lord Ram was very hesitating because here is the woman. So he thinks, in this avatar, I am Maryada Purushottam. I have come to uphold the religious principles. For the first time, I am going to kill someone, and that's a woman. So Kshatriyas don't kill women generally. And then Vishwamitra had to convince him that this is not like a normal woman; she is a demoness. So then Lord Ram kills. Similarly, when Krishna comes, some acharyas give an explanation. Why does Krishna close his eyes when he is killing Putana? Because he was also thinking, last time I thought as Lord Ram I had to kill the woman, as the first demon that I killed was a woman, and I thought, okay, this will be different at this point, in this particular time when I'm visiting. But no, again, it's the first demon that I'm going to kill as a very young baby is again a woman. So that's why Acharya say he didn't want to look at her, so he just closed his eyes and then was sucking the life air out of Putana. So similarly here, Brahmaji, the first creation that he is doing has to be ignorance. The reason that Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur gives is because the living entities cannot actually take up a false identity of being enjoyer or controller in this world without being covered by ignorance, without their knowledge, without their identity being covered by ignorance. They will not be able to actually exist in the material world and try to enjoy basically. If they were liberated, that's a different issue. But without being liberated, wanting to enjoy and control this world, they cannot exist here without the covering of the ignorance. That's why the first thing he has to do is create ignorance. Sasar Jagre Amdatamishram Atatamishram Adikrit Mahamoham cha moham cha tamascha ajnana pratyaya. So here he is saying Brahmaji is creating tamas or tama, which is the ignorance of one's swarupa, which is the ignorance of about one's self-knowledge. And moham is the bodily conception. And mahamoham is the thought of false proprietorship. And Tamishram is anger upon frustration, because now there is proprietorship and enjoyment mentality. But when it is frustrated, the lust is frustrated, it becomes anger. So that is Tamishram. And Anda Tamishram is unconscious state brought about by anger, a deep bewilderment brought about by the frustration of lust. So Tama, Moham, Maha Moham, Tamishram, and Anda Tamishram, these five features of the ignorance are like the net, are like the coverings for the soul. And depending on the layers, depending on the thickness of each layer or the effect of each layer, people behave differently, even in this world. So that's why Brahmaji first creates ignorance so that living entities can actually adjust to being in this way, in this world. So after he creates, he becomes very displeased. Now, what what kind of a sinful kind of a creation that I have to do? So he feels little morose. So then he's like, because he is like feeling morose, he goes and meditates on the Supreme Lord again, focusing his purpose. Okay, I'm not doing this because I like to do this or don't like to do this. I'm doing this as a service to Krishna. So I'm not need not either feel elated or displeased. So he purifies his mind, which is the nature of the mind to give like it, don't like it, pleasurable, not pleasurable. So that is the nature of the mind. So here the mind is to purify that. He is meditating on the Supreme Lord and becomes composed and again begins creation. So the first now, because he sat in meditation and fixed himself in knowledge, and that is why the creation of Kumaras is considered both Prakrita and Vaikrita. It is considered a mixture of Prakrita and Vaikrita creation, because Brahmaji is creating the four Kumaras. So in that respect, it is Vaikrita creation. However, he did not just create by his own ability. Specifically, he meditated, so that through that meditation, first the Supreme Lord creates the four Kumaras, and then Brahmaji creates them. So that is why it is a mixture of both Prakrita and Vaikrita. So Brahmaji creates the four Kumaras, and because he was fixed in knowledge, they come out with the qualities of completely being free from fruitive actions, and they were also urdhva means they were completely celibates. Their seminal fluid was going upwards towards the brain, so they were fully renounced, complete celibates. And with these qualities, because they were established in knowledge, they had these qualities of completely being free from fruitive actions and lust. And Vishnu Chakravarti writes that Vidya, the currency of knowledge, or knowledge, Vidya, has four aspects. So he says Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapas. These are the four aspects of knowledge or Vidya. And because Brahmaji actually meditated on the Supreme Lord uh, to create the four Kumaras, Vishnu Chakravarti writes how these four aspects of knowledge, Vidya, knowledge, Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapas. That is, Sankhya is analytical ability, Yoga is connection with the Supreme Lord, and Vairagya is renunciation, and Tapas is austerity. So these are four aspects of Vidya. Like Vidya, knowledge means you have some analytical ability, and that knowledge should connect you to God, and then the knowledge without renunciation is useless, and without austerity is also, you don't get knowledge. So you get knowledge through austerity, you sustain that knowledge with renunciation, and using that knowledge you have analytical ability and ultimately connection to Krishna. So these are the four aspects of knowledge: Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapas. And they appeared in the form of Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar. The four Kumaras are named as Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumar. So since they appear as four aspects of knowledge, uh, they are considered as actually the representation or the incarnation of the knowledge potency of the Lord. They are also Shakti Avesh, you can say. They are invested with the knowledge potency of the Lord. And generally, knowledge cannot just exist uh, by itself without a tinge of bhakti, then that becomes useless. So since Vidya or knowledge is useless without bhakti, they also have bhakti present in them, but as a secondary item. They have knowledge as the primary item, bhakti as the secondary item. However, it's just a side point that Narada Muni will be created with bhakti as the primary item. So he is the Shakti Avesh avatar or the bhakti potency. He was invested with the devotional potency, and the four Kumaras were invested with the knowledge potency of the Lord. However, their knowledge is not Kevala Vidya, is not Kevala Jnana. It is Jnana with a mixture of bhakti. And that is how jnana can actually have fruition. It can be useful only when it is in touch with bhakti. So kevala jnana is useless. So that's what Krishna Chakravarti writes. Now that the four Kumaras are created by Brahma, then Brahma asked them after creating the Kumaras, please, now see, generally if you create one son, you're very happy. And you have one purpose, and you get four sons to propagate the purpose. That means you have four times. You have exponentially your work will be done. Means you have one son, so they can create so many, but four sons, so the work gets four times multiplied. So he's very happy. So now I have four sons, not just one, so they can create a lot of progeny. So he goes to them and says, please start creating progeny. But they say, sorry. They refused because they were completely devoted to the Lord, Vasudeva Parayana, and their only interest was liberation because they were so much invested. They're just incarnation of knowledge, but they're like, no, we're not getting into this business. So because because Brahmaji, his duty, his dharma is to populate the world, and he has gone through a lot to come to this stage. And now finally he creates the first progeny, the four sons, not just one, so four sons. So because the expectation is there, when they disobey, he becomes disturbed, he becomes angry. But he understands that, okay, I don't need to depend on them. I can create somebody else to complete this job. since they kind of disrespected him, Brahma was angry, but he actually tried to control it. Still, by the potency of the Lord, by the arrangement of the Lord, that anger was actually used for creation of another personality. So the creation of Rudra or Lord Shiva happens through that anger that Lord Brahma develops when the four Kumaras say no. So we will see how Rudra appears from Brahmaji. So this is the second section from verses 7 to 20. We are going to see about creation of Rudra. So if anybody has any questions in the first section, we can take.
Prabhu, I have one question. You say four Kumaras were completely devoted to Lord. So I am just wondering, if they're completely devoted, they are already liberated. How are they even in the material world? Because if someone is in the material world, that means they wanted to enjoy separately. But you are saying that they were devoted, so it's kind of contradictory.
Like Narada Muni, he is also part of the creation. However, they have a certain role to play. They are not here just because they are actually conditioned to enjoy, but rather Narada Muni is here to serve the Lord in a certain way. The four Kumaras are there to serve in a certain way. Not everybody, say for example, in a jail, a superintendent is there, a warden is there, and also the jail keeper is there, and then there are prisoners. Just because everybody is in the jail premises doesn't mean everybody is a prisoner.
Oh, I got it. So it's their service basically. Okay.
Basically, they are here to help us.
Understood, Prabhu.
So the second
Prabhu,
section.
one small doubt. Haribol?
Yeah, you're able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, the four Kumaras, if I'm not wrong, I heard that they were initially like kind of impersonal uh, touch, and then here you say they were devoted to Lord Vasudev. So when one is impersonal, then from Brahman, how is one able to understand Vasudev? And another small query is, I did not get that point how the four Kumaras initially came, how they generated, like through Brahma's which push. How did that happen all of a sudden from
Okay.
Brahma? I missed that point, sorry.
No, he actually goes and meditates after he creates ignorance. He feels disturbed. So he goes and meditates. Through his meditation, he purifies his mind and intelligence. And because he prayed, the Lord creates them, and then through Brahma they manifest. So that is why they are considered like a mixture of Prakrit and Vaikilpa creation. They both, because the meditation was on the Supreme Lord, and by that potency, the straight direct meditation, they were created. That's why they're considered both created through the meditation of the Lord as well as through Brahmaji.
Okay. Not through the genitals of Brahma.
I mean, not all the creations are happening in a way we understand the creation, like reproduction in this world.
Okay. Yes, regarding the impersonal
Yeah,
touch.
Brahmaji creates from all parts of his body. It's just crazy. It's just, he's completely different. We can see, we will go to that story that later also, about like Brahmaji creates from his mind, he creates from his thumb, Daksha comes from his thumb, Brahma and Narada comes from his deliberation. So it's not like the usual way of how we create. And here, when we say they were devoted to Lord Vasudeva and aimed only at liberation, it is pretty much of a like they were predominantly Gyanis, but they also had Bhakti. But it was not fully clear, but still they were on a state of like Brahman liberation, like how Shukadeva Goswami, he was also first impersonal liberated. But the difference between impersonal liberation and the Mayavadi conception is they know that the Supreme Lord exists, but they choose to actually be in the stage of impersonal realization. But whereas the Mayavadis say there is only Brahman and I am that Brahman. So they don't accept the existence of God, but these are impersonalists, or in the sense of Brahmavadis. It's not that they don't know that the Supreme Lord exists. They know the Supreme Lord exists, but they're just attracted to this aspect.
Okay. I mean, it's really confusing how when someone knows that the Supreme Lord exists, there is a personal thing, still he is attracted
They
to
have
that.
different. That is why the whole pastime. That is why if you read the third canto itself, like where they go to meet in Vaikuntha, the Supreme Lord, if you see the commentaries, they're clearly right. They could not just go into the Vaikuntha. They were not fully ready. That's why they were stopped at the gates. That's why the Lord Vishnu came out to meet them. He did not bring them inside at that point. Only when they saw Lord Vishnu and they smelled the tulsi from his lotus feet, their heart actually changed at that point of time, completely as devoted to Lord Vishnu. Earlier, they were not so much like attracted to that aspect of the Supreme Lord.
Wow. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
So creation of Rudra begins from the verse 7 and goes on until verse 20. Since I'm also running behind time, I also have to leave on time today at like around 7:55. So we will go through this in a crisp way. Like because Brahmaji was angered by their refusal, they means the four Kumaras' refusal to create progeny. That anger manifests as Lord Shiva, and from by his he was trying to control his anger by intelligence, but from between his eyebrows a child with blue and reddish complexion, Neela Lohita, is a combination of it's an indication of ignorance and passion. So Neela Lohita, he's Rudra is created, and because he cries, please give me a name and place. So Lord Brahma says, because you cried so anxiously, I'll name you as Rudra, and then he gives him 11 places to reside. These are residences of the Rudra principle or the anger. So here it is listed out as heart, which is the false egoistic attitude of thinking oneself to be all in all. Senses, the anger in the heart is manifested through the senses, and also air of life, or the like when one becomes angry, they breathe rapidly, and also sky, air, water, fire, earth, sun, moon, and austerity. I think Vishnu Chakra Thakur writes why it is in austerity is because when the austerity is without bhakti, then it becomes it creates anger. It creates that kind of an anger. You see, Durvasa Muni or even Prachetas, after they did austerity, they had such energy that they were burning down the forest with their anger. So generally, the principle of austerity brings in that aspect. And after that, he also gives 11 names to Lord Shiva as Manyu, Manu, Mahinasa, Mahan, Shiva, Rutadhvaja, Ugrareta, Bhava, Kala, Vamadeva, and Dritavrata. And he also says you will have 11 wives, expansions. So Dhi, Dhriti, Rasala, Uma, Niyut, Sarpi, Ila, Ambika, Iravati, Swadha, and Diksha. So accept these places and wives and create progeny on a large scale. So he's just giving that same instruction as he gave to the four Kumaras to Rudra also. So the Rudra creates progeny who are similar to him, but that progeny they attempt to devour the entire universe and they even attack Brahma. So Brahma becomes completely afraid and says, "Stop." He says, "Stop creating these kind of population. We don't want them now because the duty of destruction comes later. I'm just trying to create. I haven't even fully created. I'm just beginning it. So I don't want any destruction now." So he says, "Your time to do your job will come very later. So until then, you go and do austerity." So he leaves to the forest on hearing, taking the instructions of Brahma. So then Brahma peacefully sits. So now he realizes, okay, this is not working out. So now he creates 10 sons from his mind and other aspects. So he creates Narada from deliberation, Vasishtha from his breathing, Daksha from his tongue, Bhrigu from touch, Kratu from hand, Pulatsya ears, Angira mouth, Atri eyes, and Marichi from his mind, and Pulaha from the navel. So in this way he creates 10 sons. And after that, he also creates Dharma and Adharma. Dharma from his chest, right chest, because the Supreme Lord is situated as Paramatma. So from there comes Dharma. So, and the back of Lord Brahma, Adharma is created. And then he also creates the factors which instigate Adharma, like lust, anger, greed, power of speaking, ocean, low and abominable activities, all these things also he creates. So here he creates Vak, which is the power of speaking. And then he also creates Kardam Muni from his splendor or shadow. So after he creates, so now because Maitreya Rishi just mentioned about Vak, so he remembers something that happened in the past. So he's without one, since he doesn't want to find faults with a great personality as Brahma, and he is so careful not to commit any offenses. So he phrases this verse, 28 verses. We have heard, O Vidura, from authorities, that Brahma was attracted to his daughter. So he's not saying, do you know Brahma was attracted to his daughter? So he's not gossiping. He's rather saying, we have heard. It's just, I'm just saying what I heard. I'm not like trying to judge him or anything like that. So he want his hesitation in or in his he doesn't want to create any offense or his it shows his offenses attitude. So he's only sharing to give knowledge that how strong the senses could be that they can even bewilder a great personality like Lord Brahma. So this also denotes that Vishnu Chakravarti says this event happened before in another kalpa, before Brahma heard the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So he's saying this did not happen in this kalpa. This happened in some other kalpa. That's why he's saying, oh, we have heard something like this happen in the past. And whenever that happened, so then Brahma's son, they were also just created, right? So those sons actually saw Brahma being so deluded, they started to advise him. So the sages headed by Maharishi actually speak with great respect. They're not like trying to ridicule him or anything. They very respectfully try to bring him to his senses. And when all their efforts fail, so they turn to the Supreme Lord and start praying, oh Krishna, we try to console Brahma to bring him out of his illusion, but he is unable to. So just you by your mercy help him. So after hearing this prayer, Brahma becomes ashamed and he comes to his knowledge and gives up his mentality, that whatever mentality that he had, which is mentioned as giving up his body. Vishnu Thakur says he can give up his body because his body lives for Dvipadartha for the whole 100 years of Brahma's time. It lives. He can just die. So it is just basically denotes how he gives up his mentality that he was influenced by. And that particular mentality, when he renounces it or rejects it, that appears as fog in the darkness in all the directions. So that's why if you see all the directions are covered by darkness at all times if there is no sun. So that is from Brahmaji's giving up that mentality. And here it's more of a list of what and all he created and from where he created. So he creates the four Vedas, which is the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda. And the verses explain what is Rig Veda. It describes the activities of the Hota. There are four people in trying to perform a sacrifice. So the chanting of the mantras is more predominant in Rig Veda. The sacrificial performance, the rules is predominant in Yajur Veda, and the singing of the verses. Samaveda is considered the most sweet among the Vedas because they have these verses to be sung properly, the meters and all those things. And Atharva Veda considered, okay, you perform the sacrifice if there was any problem. How do you remedy those mistakes? So that remedial measures that one does, Prayashchitam, is given in Atharva Veda. So in this way, he creates the four Vedas to guide. And also these four Vedas have principles that guides Brahma himself in creation. And then he creates the Upavedas, like the supplementary Vedas, like Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, and Stapatya Veda. There is the medical science, military art, musical art, architectural science. So he creates all of these. And then he creates Panchama Veda, which is the fifth Veda, the Puranas and the Itihasas. And then he creates Karma Tantram, the sacrificial acts. Shodashi and Ukta recitations for sacrifices, Purushi and Agnishtoma sacrifices, Aptro Yama and Akhirata sacrifices, and Vajpaya and Gosava sacrifices. So these are the different kinds of sacrifices that he creates. And then he creates 4 legs of Dharma, 4 ashrams, and their vrittis, means their natures and types of different, each types of each ashram. So he creates Vidya, which is knowledge, charity, tapasya. Tapa is austerity and Satyam is truth. We generally hear these 4 words. Uh, Tapo Satyam, Daya Shaucham, and Tapas Satyam. These 4 activities we hear. The same thing here is denoted as Vidya, Dhanam, and Tapa and Satyam. Charity, purity, austerity, and truth. And 4 ashramas are Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. And he gives 4 types of Brahmacharyas and 4 types of Grihasthas, 4 types of Vanaprasthas, and 4 types of Sannyasis. All these things are created by Brahmaji. So these are all like the vocations, that these are the prototypes of principles that are created. And the arts, sciences, and the celebrated hymns. So all their different Pranava Omkara is created from his heart. All the other aspects of art, sciences, and everything is also created. Then he creates the Vedic meters and words writing. Like there are so many chandas like Trishtu, Panishtu, Jagati, Pankti, Bruhati, Gayatri, Ushni. So all these kind of things he creates. Then he creates the alphabets, audible sounds, Vaikhari, which is Shabda Brahma. So he creates all those vowels and consonants. Sorry, it's just a list. I couldn't go into details because I myself don't know what is all these things. Too much detail is not explained. So basically, so far we saw how Brahmaji created 4 Kumaras, and then first he created the 5 features of ignorance. He was morose, so he meditated on the Supreme Lord, and through that meditation, he was given the ability to create the 4 Kumaras. And when 4 Kumaras come, they disobey the order to create progeny, so he becomes angry. From his anger, Rudra is created, and he orders Rudra to create progeny. But the progeny that he creates wasn't useful, so he asks him to stop creating and go to forest to perform austerity until it's time for him to create. And then Brahmaji creates 10 sons, including Brahma, Narada, Marichi, Bhrigu, Kratu, Daksha, all of them from various parts of his body. And then he also creates Dharma, Dharma, and Kardama Muni. And then Maitreya Rishi briefly explains about how in the past that Brahmaji was attracted to Vak, and Prabhupada writes elaborate purpose on the reason is like to emphasize how even great personality like Brahma could be bewildered by lust, so what to speak of others. And then he creates various aspects of dharma, ashramas, and Puranas, Itihasas, Vedas, Upavedas, and art sciences, Vedic meters, and audible sounds. He creates all of them. So now Brahma, he has created all these things. Now he has to create the other aspects, like now the procreation has to start. But Brahmaji's body is generally considered to be composed of the Vedas, the Shabda Brahman. He is invested with the multifarious energies, and he is the personal representation of the Supreme Lord. So that body is not like, it is not this, it's not involved in sex life or anything. So what he does is he doesn't completely give up that body, but while having that, he also acquires a new body to be able to engage in the creation activities. So he accepts a new body where sex life is not prohibited. So in that kind of a body, that body he actually going to create Swayambhu Manu and Shatrupa. Because here the creation of human beings from here actually they begin. The human being's body is a body where procreation is allowed. So that's why he accepts accordingly a particular body, and from there he manifests Swayambhu Manu and Shatrupa. Both of them come from Brahma's body, but they are not like brothers and sisters or anything. Rather, they, like we also see in Bhagavatam, from Vena's body, Prithu Maharaj and Archi come, and they both are considered consorts. So similarly, here Swayambhu, Manu, and Shatrupa come from the body of Brahmaji, and then they actually They actually become husband and wife, they unite. So after creating all these sun species, oh, they are all not able to create very efficiently. So Brahmaji thinks, oh, I want more. So then he, by his deliberation, he creates two forms, that is Swayambhu, Manu and Shatarupa, and they unite and they gradually increase the population of the universe. They first have like only 5 children with his two sons, Priyavrata, Uttanapad, Akuti, Prasuti and Devahuti. So Akuti was married to Ruchi, Devahuti was married to Kardama, and Prasuti was married to Daksha. So from then the world population was growing. So you will see from here, Brahmaji also will be explaining next, okay, what happened when Swayambhu Manu was first created. And from that we will pick up the pastime of Varahadev. And in this way, gradually we will go towards Devahuti. Oh, Devahuti had a son who is the Supreme Lord. So then Vidura will ask, oh, can you please explain about Kapila Muni and Devahuti and Kardama? So that's how we will see the rest of the third canto is going to be Devahuti, Kardama, after we finish the pastime of Hiranyaksha being killed. And then we will go, after Devahuti is over, then we will see Akuti, then we will see Prasuti, actually, because we will see in the fourth canto how Daksha's daughter Sati leaves her body. So that is our first Devahuti is finished, and then Prasuti's daughter will be explained. And in that, Shukdev Goswami will say actually one daughter of Prasuti who was Sati actually left her body because of the dealings of Daksha. Then Vidura will ask, oh, please explain about that. That sounds so extraordinary. After Sati is explained, then they will get into Akuti. So, and then they will also speak about Uttanapad. Because Priyavrat Maharaj takes renunciation, they speak about Uttanapad, and because Dhruv Maharaj is there, immediately question comes, oh, please describe the pastime of Dhruv Maharaj. That's why in the fourth canto we will see Dhruv Maharaj will come, and then his descendants like Prithu and Prachetas and Prachina Barhishat, all of them will come in fourth. After finishing that, then we will see, oh, then there is no more kings, so then Priya will be again called back, and like that. So you see from this conversation of Maitreya and Vidura, and especially the family lineage of Swayambhu Manu is going to almost lead us until the canto 5. And from there again we will have another line. So a lot of Manu is like again 8th canto, will be like a lot of manus from there. So all these dynasties, Solar dynasty, Surya dynasty, and the dynasties of the Manu, they are the predominantly, they drive the lineage and they drive the conversation of the Bhagavatam, their life and their how the Supreme Lord appeared in their families or how they perfected their devotional service. Based on that, the whole flow of Bhagavatam will be going. So this chapter, this is like basically we see how here Swayambhu Manu and Shatrupa is created. A lot of controversies generally. People think, oh, Brahmaji just married his daughter. There are many other, apart from this chapter, like in general, people think Brahmaji married his daughter. Some Western Indologists, they created this confusion that Brahmaji, because Matsya Puran says that from Brahmaji, uh, Shatrupa or is otherwise called as, here Shatrupa's Swayambhu Manu's wife is called Shatrupa, but there is another Shatrupa which will be created in the Matsya Purana explains, like she's the Gayatri Devi, that is Saraswati. So she also comes from Brahmaji, and then he gets attracted to her, and then as he moves around his head to see Saraswati when she is circumambulating, that's why he creates 4 heads to see her without turning his heads around, because the suns are also there, and that's why it is said he develops 4 heads like that. So and some Western Indologists say, oh, how did he marry his daughter or something like that? But actually, he how like Lord Shiva, Lord Parvati is the eternal concept. Like similarly here for Brahmaji, because his body is filled with Vedas, so the knowledge potency. Saraswati, who is a representation of the knowledge, is the eternal concept. So it's not in kind of a bad way that the Western Indologists project Brahmaji and Saraswati. That's not true actually, because he is just creating from his mind. There is no sexual reproduction like how human beings do. So because he, like if you say Brahmaji's daughter was Saraswati, then who was her mother? So the creation was of a very different type. So that's why it is not considered as incestuous or anything like that. It was just like, it was normal, it was appropriate. But a lot of Western ideologies has created this kind of confusion. So I think we answered most of the uh, addressed the whole section. And if there are any questions at this point, we can take. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Ganesha ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Thank you very much for joining. So if you have any questions, I can be here for another 5 minutes. After that, I have to go for another lecture. So
Prabhu, this thing happens in every kalpa, means every day of Brahma, the same procedure happens, or only in this kalpa it happens?
so Vedic literatures, Jiva Goswami explains in the Sandarbhas are like cyclical. All the creation, the happenings in the universe is all like cyclical. So Vedic literatures gives the general principle. The details could be different in different creations. That's why you see Matsya Puran, you read something else, you will come. In another creation account, you read something else, you will come. But because the some details could be different, but this is the principle.
Chatushloki Bhagavatam, different kalpa or same kalpa?
And which different kalpa?
I mean, no, I was just telling that you just mentioned that this attraction to Vak happened much before the Chatushloki Bhagavatam was.
No, Krishna Chakravarti writes the time when Brahmaji got attracted to Vak, in that kalpa, he had not yet heard Chatushloki Bhagavatam.
So in every kalpa you hear this, Brahma hears Chatushloki Bhagavatam therefore.
Yeah, seems like that.
And the Rudras are also created in every kalpa, and then again, okay, no, again another 10 are created, or this is what we are learning is specific to only this kalpa.
I understand what you're asking. It's not like he may forget. He like, is it that Brahmaji is going to forget and go through this process again every day?
Yes.
But the details could be changing, how they are being created or what is
Okay.
happening different. But here Bhagavatam explains this particular instance.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. So this
Do
is
you
the
still have
Padma
time?
Kalpa. Padma Kalpa.
Padma Kalpa is the Kalpa, yes, where the lotus comes from the navel of Garbhodakshay Vishnu, even for after partial dissolution. However, it's not very clear in these accounts. It's exclusively to Padma Kalpa, or it's just like a general description of what happens in Brahma's secondary creation, especially when he wakes up from a partial destruction.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Somebody else was asking.
Prabhu, Ritesh here. Prabhu, do you still got time?
Yeah, we can.
Prabhu, I have heard that Lord Krishna appears once